Okay, transport an animal like any other topics. We started with the objectives, and please check that you have covered all of the objectives when you finish the slideshow. So take a look on the objectives, understand what are the objectives that you need to cover by the end of the lesson, but please make sure by just tick the objective that covered. For example, if you learned that the components of blood are red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets, and plasma, fine. So just take this point. This because all of the objectives are the CIE objectives or Cambridge objectives. It's not my objectives. So this means that based on the specification, and you have covered everything. Okay, so let's start with the first slide. In order to transport substance in animals, we have different types of animals. Simple unicellular or unicellular organisms and complex organisms. For simple organism or unicellular organism, we can definitely diffuse all types of chemical substance, gases by diffusion. As we said several times, diffusion is the net movement of molecules from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration through partially permeable membrane. Now we are working on topic 9, so we can definitely find your questions merged two different topics together. So he might ask you on this topic, but you might need in your answer, Junior, a part of the transport topic, okay, like the definition of diffusion. On the other side, for complex multicellular organisms, we need specific system to help in the delivery of all of oxygen, nutrients, and to get rid of all of the waste product or to pick up all of the waste products such as carbon dioxide, for example. So we need a system, this system called circulatory system, made up of blood vessels, blood itself, and the heart, which is the motor of the engine to pump blood throughout the body. Let's understand first the blood and blood components. Blood components are part tissue or part cell and part fluid, which is the liquid part in the blood, called plasma. The tissue or the cellular part made up of red blood cells, and we talked red blood cells before, and we understand that red blood cells responsible for transportation of oxygen throughout the body. White blood cells, and the white blood cells for defense action. So production of antibodies, engulf and eat bacteria is the main function of white blood cells or lymphocytes. There is another type of cells called platelets, and you know the main function of platelets is to help in blood clot formation. For the plasma, you can write any kind of chemicals, okay, so no problem. Any kind of chemicals found in the blood carried by plasma. It is the fluid parties, the fluid part of the blood. So it can carry cholesterol, it can carry urea as a waste product, it could carry some hormones, it could carry some sugar molecules and carbohydrates, so it should carry all of the chemical substance. Either it is beneficial or just waste the product in order to filtrate the blood by any type of filtration or excretion. So those are the main components of the blood. Lymphocytes, phagocytes for white blood cells, plasma, the fluid or liquid part of the blood, red blood cells for transporting all of the all of the oxygen as a respiring tissue, and finally platelets to prevent blood clot. Let's go to the circulatory system. Circulatory system in year 9. You need just to understand the flow of the blood throughout the body. So we have a heart, and the heart is the main engine or motor to pump the blood to the lungs for gas exchange. We have arteries and veins to take the blood away from the body to the heart. So whenever I asked you what is the main function of the vein, this is to collect all of the deoxygenated blood from the body to the heart. Why? Because the heart will pump this deoxygenated blood to the lungs for gas exchange. To exchange gases, it means, ya Marsa, to take in carbon, to release out or diffuse out carbon dioxide and take in oxygen. The blood now became oxygenated, Esther. So the oxygenated blood from the lungs will return back to the heart, and then the heart will pump, sending all of the blood to the body again. So the cycle called double circulation, because blood will reach the heart first as a deoxygenated blood. This is number one. Then blood will be delivered to the lungs for gas exchange. Number two, then blood after gas exchange became oxygenated, returned back to the heart. And number four, the heart will pump. Then, so all of the blood will be transported to the respiring tissue as an oxygenated blood. Okay, so arteries, I said no because I have a session. Okay, we have three types of blood vessels: arteries, veins, and capillaries. I am expecting, Noor, I am expecting this question in your paper, in your exam, the difference between arteries, veins, and capillaries. Please, 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 guys, if I asked you to write the difference in function, don't write the difference in structure. If I asked you in the question to write the difference in structure, you will not take any mark if you wrote the function. So please, I'm begging you, every single video, every single presentation, to read the question well. If he asked you for the function, it makes sense, Asser. If he asked you to compare the functions, definitely I will not give you a mark if you wrote the structure, and the opposite. If I'm asking you to compare based on the structure, I will not give you a mark for the function. Yes. I did not talk about capillaries yet. I will clarify this now. And you will find the slide of capillaries now. So for the arteries, it has thick muscular layer to withstand blood pressure, because blood pressure is high in arteries to deliver blood under high pressure to all of the respiring tissues. It has wavy elastic band. It has narrow lumen. If you forgot the word narrow, you can write small, but definitely if I asked you, Omar, now, is it narrow is more professional or small? Definitely narrow lumen will be more accurate. So now we mentioned the structure. You will talk about thick layers of muscle, about fiber tissue, and about the lumen. And definitely, if you want to add the point of the function, if he write generally to talk about an arteries, you can write it transport oxygenated blood. For the veins, just a second. Okay, so I will compare between arteries and vein. I will listen to your question first. For the veins, there is one extra addition in the structure. It has valves. Why we have valves in the vein? To prevent, yeah, exactly, to prevent backflow of blood. So to prevent backflow of blood, to make sure that blood is going in one direction. All of the layers are in, but the layers are really thin. In addition, that the lumen is wide. The opposite to narrow, it has a wide lumen, because there is no need at all. There is no need at all to have narrow lumen, because we need the blood to go smoothly on this in this vein or in any kind of veins. Okay. For capillaries is just one cell thick. It can diffuse. Why it is one cell thick? Because we need this, we need this thin membrane to diffuse all substance easily, oxygen and carbon dioxide out of the respiring tissue. So if we have, imagine with me, Martha, if we have thick layer like this, it will take time. This will increase the diffusion time. because we increase the diffusion distance. And that's what we don't like. We need oxygen to diffuse quickly. We need to remove all of carbon dioxide quickly. So the capillary is one cell thick, and that's what I want you to write if he asked you about capillaries. So now, arteries transport oxygenated blood. Veins take the deoxygenated blood. In between both, we have capillaries to connect arteries and veins. You got it? Okay. So in front of you, a table, you had a question there. Yeah. Lumen. Lumen. Narrow lumen. Okay? Don't say space, don't say hollow, don't say all of this part, because he will never give you the mark. Okay? So now we have two slides for the flow of blood to compare the flow of blood structure and function, and I think that's what we did. So they transport an animal, and this is an extended part, so you can take like 2 minutes break. Don't listen to this extended part, because I don't want you all to be confused under any circumstances. We have two types of circulation: single circulation of fish, because blood will transport only once in the heart for gas exchange or for diffusion, and double circulation happened in mammals, because we have pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation. Pulmonary circulation is a circulation between the heart and the lungs, systemic circulation between the heart and the body. That's why we have two types of circulation. What are the main advantages of double circulation? In front of you, we have the first advantage, that blood flows more slowly through the lungs, allowing sufficient time for gas exchange. Four chambers heart ensures separation of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. There is a septum in between to make sure that there is no mixing between oxygenated and deoxygenated part. And the last point is that oxygenated blood will be easily and rapidly distributed through the body. For the heart itself, back to our part guide, for the heart itself and the structure of the heart. I want you to take a look, guys, you need to take a look on the outer structure, and then we will go through the inner structure. How many chambers that we have in the heart? We have 4 chambers, right atrium, and please don't forget that the directions are opposite. Right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle. The right atrium, we will start our circulations of it from the right atrium. So right atrium collects all of the blood, or receives all of the blood from the vena cava, which is the largest vein. Then valves called atrioventricular valves will open to deliver the blood to the right ventricle and then close. The heart will pump, so blood will go through the pulmonary artery, which is the exceptional artery that carry deoxygenated blood. All of the arteries carry oxygenated blood except this artery and another artery during the embryonic development in topic 16 we will mention. But now the pulmonary artery is the artery that carry deoxygenated blood. Gas exchange will happen in the lungs, then back blood will come oxygenated to the heart on the left side. Left atrium will receive the oxygenated blood from the pulmonary vein, then the atrioventricular valve open, sending the blood to the left ventricle and then close, because we said valves prevent backflow of blood. Keep the blood going in one direction, tricuspid valve and bicuspid valve. It's okay if you want to write atrioventricular. Atrioventricular, because it is a barrier or separator between atria and ventricle. So atrioventricular valves is fine, but if you will write tricuspid valve, this is for the right side, and bicuspid valve for the left side. Okay, because this is based on the structure, not the function. Coronary artery, from the name, coronary artery is the artery that feeds the heart. So to heart is a muscular structure. So it needs oxygen and nutrients. So all of the blood vessels that provides food and the nutrients for the heart itself, I guess, called coronary arteries. And definitely it will be a serious problem if there is a blockage of this in this artery, because the heart muscle itself the heart itself will not take the nutrients needed for respiration, and eventually this part will die. Okay. This is the structure and how the heart works. How could we control all of the conditions in our body, or monitoring all of the conditions in our body related to the circulatory system? By electrocardiogram, and this is a method we are using to monitor the electrical activity of the heart. By stethoscope, which is simply سماعة, okay, to just listen to the valves, the opening and closure of the valves, pulses and the rate of pulses. When I mention the word rate, I mean per unit time. So rate of something, this means the number of pulses per unit time, per minute, per 2 minutes, per 3 minutes, I mean per time. Blood pressure, the last point on this slide, and I will listen to you. Blood pressure, pressure like pressure in physics, force over area. So the definition is a force exerted on the surface area, which is the wall of blood vessels. And definitely we are using sphygmomanometer. Sphygmomanometer, this is the blood pressure device that we are using to measure the blood pressure. Okay, yes. We'll answer past papers, but now you will be on the safe side that you have covered everything, all of the topics. At least you have the basic idea of it. So you will be on the safe side related to biology. You need to focus on other subjects. I need to finish this. We have like 4 slides, and then I will listen to all your questions. Okay. Physical activity. Do you think that physical activity increases the pulse rate or not? Definitely. This is an extended part, but I think it's extremely easy. It affects the rate of breathing and the depth of breathing or not? Definitely yes. So two main answers out of 2 marks if he asked about the effect of exercise on the breathing rate. It affects frequency of breathing, and that's what we will learn in respiration and respiratory system, and depth of breathing. So you will write 2 words as a frequency of breathing, depth of breathing. You will take 2 marks and you will add this to your card. Okay? So physical activity definitely increase pulse rate because we need more oxygen. If I asked you in order to explain this, we need more oxygen. We need to respire more. We need to get rid of more carbon dioxide. So definitely exercise will increase pulse rate. Okay. The last part is the arteries and veins in the human circulatory system. Any artery carry oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery. Any vein carry deoxygenated blood except pulmonary vein. In between the small intestine and stomach with the liver, there is a vein called hepatic portal vein. Hepatic portal vein is the vein that connects small intestine after absorption of all of the nutrients to the liver to make sure that everything will be absorbed in an accurate way. Okay? Any vein or artery related to the liver called hepatic. Any vein or artery related to the lungs called pulmonary. Any veins or arteries related to the kidney called renal. Any vein or artery related to the heart, Raja, called cardio, okay, or cardiac. Fine. The last part is the coronary heart disease. Number one is the heart attack. Yeah. Number one is the heart attack. The heart attack will definitely happen if there is a blockage of one of the coronary arteries. And we have a lot of factors definitely cause this kind of thrombosis or the reduction in the lumen size because of the deposition of fats on it. Okay, so a lot of factors, definitely smoking, emotional stress, and diet when it has too much lipids. This will cause a thrombus. Thrombus, it means blood clot forms in the artery. A lot of factors, and please read the factors because it's just a golden question. One of the simple questions if he asked you to state the factors. Okay, smoking, unhealthy diet, genetic factors, gender, age, stress, and lack of exercise. How can we monitor this? How can to take any preventive action against coronary heart disease? Avoid smoking. If I ask you for general knowledge or general information, a proper diet, avoiding smoking, proper stress management, regular physical exercise. Smoking, any types of smoking, either cigarettes or vape or any kind of smoking will be really harmful. Okay. This is the end of the topic 9, and all what I want you to need to check the concept mapping, okay, or to draw your concept mapping, guys, as it is a method of evaluating and assessing your information or your biological information on this topic. Okay, do you have any question on this part? Okay, so we will take just 2 minutes break and we will start working on topic 10. Okay?